Okay, guys.
Shabbat Shalom. Tonight on Shabbat Shira, we celebrate the song our people spontaneously sang as they crossed the Red Sea at their moment of freedom, of liberation. We recall their freedom from oppression in ancient days, and now, maybe more than ever, relate to the feeling of being confined by narrow places and what it will mean again when we are free and can be together. And so tonight we sing for past freedoms, for our future freedoms, and for the spiritual moments that inspire our challenges, the challenges we have endeavored to create, and with them, through prayer and music, inspiration. We begin tonight with our amazing Teen Tefillah team as they remind us to heed the call to be a Kehillah Kedosha, a holy community.
Those teenagers are amazing, and I'm so glad we got to see them tonight to kick off our Shabbat Shira with their incredible voices that bring such love and joy and warmth into our service this evening. And along with our incredible music, we'll light our Shabbat candles to bring a little extra warmth into our homes, into our community, as we begin our Shabbat celebration together. So if you have candles at home, you can light them with me, with my little candle box that I picked up from the from Dakota when we were getting our challah today. And join with me as we say our candle blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So good to see you this week. A particularly cold and frigid week. It's nice to be warmed up by the voices of those around us, whether we can hear them or just see them on the screen. So we're here, you're here, I'm here, the clergy is here. We want to have Shabbat join us, so we sing the words of Lecha Dodi together. We've done this a few times now, so if you think you got it, sit up straight, feet on the ground, deep breath in, slowly out, and join in with me when you're ready. Here we go. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor, Shamor v'zachor, b'dibur echad. Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hitoreri. Kiva orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daveri. Kivod Adonai alaich nigla, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. And that bottom paragraph here on our slide. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pinei Shabbat nikabela.
Oh, amazing. It's so beautiful. Every time I hear Spike play one of his songs, it just fills me with such joy of what Jewish worship means. And I think all of our music team will share the same feeling. That's one of the beautiful things of being part of music and worship at Temple Israel, is not just seeing the new music we create, but seeing it be shared really all over the country. And this next piece, Baruch Hu, is part of that same flow from Temple. Right now, we've been emailing with the URJ for their Ruach series with Ari, our friend who's in Toronto, the composer, and they're picking the chords and the harmonies and putting it exactly right so the rest of the country can lift themselves up the way we do with this Baruch Hu. So as we raise ourselves up for prayer, think of all the other synagogues that will soon be singing our beautiful melody. Please join me in this call to worship. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. With one breath, with one song, with one voice, Baruch Hu. With one breath, with one song, with one voice, Baruch Hu. Hey, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
And that is quite literally, I think, the definition of joy. When you see Cantor Smolash and Dr. Green jamming out to that song that's on our album. But now as we move forward, next is the Shema, the watchword of our faith. And, you know, this particular Shema you're about to hear means so much to me. I had the amazing opportunity to record this song for our album, as I'm sure you've all heard by now. If not, you should. But now you're about to hear it from the amazing voices of our Teen Tefillah team. And I don't know if you all know this, but at some point, every single teen in the Teen Tefillah team was one of my little Shabbat singer students. So as these teens were recording this video you're about to watch, and I was able to be with them along the way, teaching them harmonies, the melody, it made my heart sing, and I felt one with God in that moment. So we now continue with the Shema, and then followed by the Ve'ahavta.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu,
now continue with the Ve'ahavta. You should all know this one. If you know the parts, call in response and sing along. And you shall love Adonai with all your soul, with all your might, and teach these words through day and night to all your children, for it's their right. Wear them proudly as a sign upon your hand, and as a crown above your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gate throughout all time.
So we're at that beautiful moment, which is what inspires Shabbat Shira all over the world. Really, this is the moment in the Torah where we have crossed the sea, we have come through, we have made it through unbelievable challenges, and now we celebrate in the only way we can, with song and with dance. Because how else can you express the joy at finally being liberated and being on our way? And this is a beautiful piece of the Torah visually. You'll see in a moment as we chant how even the columns of the poetry, as it's written by our scribes in the Torah, are like the waves of the ocean lapping up against the shore. And the very, very characteristic melody will be familiar because we chant it at the end of each book. When we say, Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazek, when we finish a book, we know that melody. That's the melody. Sus v'rochvo Rama vayam. It's the same melody. So as we put our minds back to that moment that each one of our souls was present for when we danced at the sea. Well, that's not true. That was Sinai, but we'll go for it for today. But as we cast our memory back to that moment when the Jews danced and sang at the sea, you should be strengthened by this moment. And feel free to say the blessing for the Torah with me. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. We say Amen. Az yashir Moshe uvnei Yisrael et hashira hazot l'Adonai vayomeru lemor. Ashir al Adonai ki ga'o ga'a sus v'rochevo rama vayam. Ozi v'zimrat yah vayhi li lishua. Ze eli v'anvehu Elohei avi va'arom memenhu. Adonai ish milchama, Adonai shemo. Markevot paro v'chelo yara vayam, umivchar shalishav tub'u v'yamsuf. Tehomot yechasyumu, yaradu v'imtzolot kemo oven. Yeminecha Adonai nedari bakoach, Yeminecha Adonai tirat soyev. Uverov geonecha taros kamecha, Tishalach haronecha, Yochelemu kakash. Uveruach apecha, nermu mayim, nitzvu chmoned nozelim, kafu temot belev yam. Amar oyev, erdof asig achalek shalal, tim laemu nafshi, arich harbi, torishemu yadi. Nashafta veruchacha kisamu yam, Tzalelu kalferet b'mayim adirim. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lot osefele. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Vishamar is a beautiful reminder not only of creation and Shabbat, but of the bond between God and the Jewish people. If we protect it, it can last for all time. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, Vishameru לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת ושמרו לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת ושמרו לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ברית עולם ברית So we continue with the Amidah. Adonai, Sefatai tiftachu fi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Hastei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Continue with silent prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo
That beautiful last note from Sonia Lee. It puts you in such a state. We learn from Judaism that music is so beautiful, partly because it brings our emotions into prayer in such a way that we can reach deeper. And when we reach deeper into ourselves, we bring down light from a higher source. So I hope we're all in a state where the music has let us reach deep into ourselves, and now let's bring that light down for anyone in need of healing. Be gracious to my soul, Honeni. Please make my body whole, Kium lalani, Refaeni, Kiniv halu atzamai. We know you hear our cry, Honeni. Reach out with your right arm, Honeni. Oh God, how long? Kium lalani, Refaeni.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So this is where we do our sermon. Tonight, because it's Shabbat Shira, we have our sermon and song. And if we think about for a second, the fact that Shabbat Shira, where we read from the Torah, we celebrate the moment of redemption, where we cross the Sea of Reeds from slavery in Egypt into freedom. I wanted to provide another Passover point of reference, right? Because that's the Passover story that we're talking about. So I thought that I would begin our sermon and song by asking the question, what makes this Shabbat Shira different from all other Shabbat Shirot? Shabbatot Shira probably is the correct way to do that. Yes, I could be a rabbi. What makes this Shabbat Shira different from all other Shabbat Shiras? And I think it's pretty obvious given the fact that I am talking to you from my basement on a screen. When Cantor Michaels and I were talking about what the plan should be for this Shabbat Shira musically, we settled on this kind of cool concept, which was, could we include as much music that has come out of the last year as possible? Because there's so much hurt and frustration and anger and despair and just really bad stuff that's come out of the last year. And we said there are some silver linings. There's some really beautiful things that we've been able to create as well. And so you've heard and seen some videos and of melodies and songs that we've been able to write this year, trying to bring some comfort and healing and even joy from our pain. Something that sits really prevalent for me from this year is kind of the heat of the summer 2020 and our struggle and striving for justice and equality for all people, no matter the color of their skin, no matter what God they pray to, no matter who they love. And so this summer, in the midst of it all, I wrote this song because that's how I handle stress and bad feelings. I'm just like, okay, I'll just write a song and it will all be better. So, kind of, sometimes. And so I wrote this song, and I was thinking in particular of this verse from Amos, one of our prophets. And it's a verse you're probably familiar with that says, let justice well up like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. That it should have this like torrential force, that justice should be unstoppable. An interesting thing happens when you go to write a song with a text that you think you know. You look at all the pieces that are around it, and you realize you didn't know exactly as much as you thought you did. And in researching for this song, I realized something that I think we all kind of feel, but needs to be acknowledged. I have Amos chapter 5 on my phone here because it's 2021, and that's what we do. We got Torah on the tablet. But Amos 5:24 is let justice well up like waters. Amos 5:23, the verse immediately before, and a couple before that, God is kind of talking about don't give me offerings, don't burn offerings, meal offerings. I don't need anything of that. And then God says, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, and let me not hear the melody of thy psalteries. But let justice well up like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. And if that language is kind of confusing for you, this is how I think about that line. You know when you get really frustrated when problems happen again and again and again and again, and we hear sending thoughts and prayers, and then it happens again and again, and people send thoughts and prayers, and then it happens again and again, and no action is taken, and you feel a little frustrated because thoughts and prayers are really wonderful and helpful, and they need to be supported with action. Turns out that's not a new feeling. That's from the Tanakh. That's God saying enough with thoughts and prayers. Turn your thoughts and prayers into actions. Let justice well up like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Don't just speak platitudes. I hope I used that right. Don't just speak lofty goals and send love. Do love. Be love in the world. And I took that as inspiration to kind of write the rest of this song, which is called Well Up Like Waters. And over the last week and a half, the musical clergy team that is currently assembled on this service had the opportunity to re-record for just this occasion, and we made a video that we wanted to share with you this evening as our sermon in song. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and this is Well Up Like Waters.
Teach me how to flow like a river. Teach me how to flow like a river. To face what's in my way and keep on moving just the same. Teach me how to flow like a river.
Teach me how to stand like a mountain. Teach me how to stand like a mountain. Defiant, strong, and proud before what tries to tear me down. Teach me how to stand like a mountain. Let justice well up like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. May the land decide she's satisfied with the blood of no more sons and daughters. And well up like waters.
Teach me how to hear when I listen. Teach me how to hear when I listen. To not avert my eyes when I hear a people cry. Teach me how to hear when I listen.
Teach me not to yield like an iron. Teach me not to yield like an iron. To see these wrongs addressed, to not accept anything less. Teach me not to yield like an iron.
Let justice well up like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. May the land decide she's satisfied with the blood of no more sons and daughters. Well up like waters. Teach me how to soar like an eagle. Teach me how to soar like an eagle. To be what freedom means, not just a symbol people see. Teach me how to soar like an eagle. Let justice well up like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. May the land decide she's satisfied with the blood of no more sons and daughters. Well up like waters. Well up like waters. Well up like waters. Well up like waters. Well up like waters.
after this beautiful, uplifting, meaningful service in song to celebrate Shabbat Shira, this miracle of our people, we recognize that even in these moments of great joy and great celebration, we recognize the loss of those who are no longer with us, members of our families, our community, our friends. And so we take a moment and we think about them and we remember them with love and we honor them even as we spend Shabbat celebrating together. Tonight we recognize the recent deaths, the period of Shloshim for these members of our families, of our community. Bernice Ackerman, Dr. Robert Ansel, Leslie Aronoff, Joyce Book, Dorothy Kaufman Breaker, Neil Davis, Mark Eichner, Sunny Fine, Babe Fink, Nancy Glanz Miller, Mickey Grossman, Shirley Ingber, Rosalind Katzman, Laura Kinescherf, Sandy Kopelman, Beverly Levine, Lori Libster, Vita Lisnick, Susan Marvin, Carol Mangini, Saul Moretsky, Carol Orden, Nelson Past, Joy Polk, Phyllis Rader, Al Resnick, Mark Resnick, Nathan Rosen, Shirley Rosenzweig, Stephen Ross, Arthur Schaefer, Jack Simonton, Larry Singer, Linda Kaplan Stone, Sonia Saskal, and Adrian Telford. We also remember those whose yahrzeits fall on this week: Charlotte Adele, Ann Alickman, Philip Appel, Jack Beekman, Fanny Barish, Marvin Berman, Jeff Borstein, Adeline Bressoff, Francis Chasen, Ann Cohen, Irving Collins, Carol Ray Cooper, Dolores Disner, Eva Dreilinger, Molly Epstein, Paul Frank, Shirley Frank, Raymond Galper, Dwayne Geis, Sylvia Grossberg, Roger Hack, Rana Beth Harwood Kay, Irene Heiklin, David Eisenberg, Francis Eisenberg, Lois Eisenberg, Ida Katzman, Thelma Pollock Keller, Milton Kogan, Rosalie Kramer, Sonia Kudowitz, Milton Kushkin, Ann Lieberman, San Letvin, Paul Lunkin, Adrian Millen, Gabriel Miller, Ruth Nathanson, Nathan Pice, Harvey Plisco, Miriam Polo, Pauline Foreman Robb, Bessie Roth, Louis Rubenfire, Gertrude Schatz, Lottie Shallis, Lila Siderman, Mary Semmel, Ida Skolnick, Carol Ann Sohegan, Esther Stillman, Estelle Stolman, Lita Wolgan, Robert Zeman, and Herbert Zeem. We also remember the names of those whose names you are all typing into Facebook. We remember our loved ones and we honor them with the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'amlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach leolam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shalama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. And we ask God to bless all those who mourn, to comfort all among us who are bereaved tonight, as together we say, amen.
And as we finish our service, it really speaks to what an amazing environment we have, that there's yet another new piece to share to finish our service. And this is a piece from a really blessed moment when we celebrated 25 years of leadership, a beautiful spiritual leadership from our beloved Rabbi Josh Bennett. And it was really as perfect and appropriate then as it is now, because like the Song of the Sea, it's a text from the Torah. And as well, it's used on Friday nights to bless your children in a family setting. So as we enjoy this last piece of music from Jacob Spike Krause, I'll ask you to please accept this blessing that each one of us should learn from every challenge we face. Each one of us should cherish those close to us, and each one of us should see really only the smoothest of waters ahead. And let us say together, Amen.
May God bless you and keep you. Shine a light on you and be gracious to you. Turn to you and grant you peace.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.